Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next Cantata stream. I hope you all are excited. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. I am joined, as somewhat always. I think you've been on every stream.
I think every single stream.
Joined as always by
Rogue Fong,
Fong,
gameplay programmer. Very happy to be here.
And I'm Kyle.
Super
Costello,
exciting.
Developer, creative person on Cantata, and we're here to talk about the game. If you haven't seen, just disclosure, we are launching into early access on May 12th. So if you are interested in playing Cantata and playing with any of the stuff that you see here, it's a month. We're a month away. It's very, very
less than
close.
that now.
Yeah. So what we're going to do for this stream, the previous streams that we've done, we've talked about some stuff that we're going to touch on a little bit here. But we want to kind of walk people through a little bit, kind of like a modding stream, but also I think unpacking a lot of the stuff that has kind of come up since we did the demo as part of the mix about a month ago, talk about some of the changes we've done since then, but also just talk about like how we make maps in general. We also, I know we ran a poll of things that people wanted to see in the streams, and one thing that we also saw was that people really want to know the differences between factions. A lot of that stuff will probably come next week or the week after, or the next time we do a stream. We have to prep a little bit of stuff on our end to kind of demonstrate that. Rest assured, there will be a lot of that stuff available in the early access release properly. But for now, it will mostly be, we're going to open up chapter 1. We're going to say, like, you've all played it, what's going on in there. Yeah.
Dig into some of the secrets.
Yeah, I guess so. This is what we're saying. It's going to be a little spoilery for chapter 1. we're not gonna try to like show everything, or we're gonna try to not show too much. But I think what we want to sort of show is what's possible in the editor, and I think especially on a map that has come really far. So it's not just a map like you and I are building to show off like a modding thing. It's like this is like a full map. We can
Yeah,
talk about parts of that and stuff that's new. Um,
definitely. Just
yeah,
constantly refining it too. Like this, it's come a long way. So, and it looks great. It looks great.
yeah, I think so. Um, So let's just get into it, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about some of the stuff. We'll see if anybody has any questions in chat. We're streaming live right now to YouTube, Twitch,
Hmm.
and Steam, and we're monitoring everything. So if people have any questions as they come up about what we're doing or what things can happen, let us know, and we will happily answer them or try to talk about stuff. We're not trying to hide too many things.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know.
Astral Mari says it's always exciting hearing that things are being more and more refined. Oh yeah.
Yes,
Oh
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. Um, oh yeah. Also, we're saying so after the stream on our Discord, we will have a. Ooh, there you go. We have a on our Discord. We do sort of like post stream chat. So if people are interested in talking about stuff that comes up here, kind of after we talk about what we see on the stream, come drop by the Discord. We basically just join an audio call, and people who watch the stream on Discord will come and hang out and ask us other questions, or just kind of like it's like a hang. It's a hang after the stream. So here we have this is chapter 1. I will just give a little quick zoom out and pan around so you can see it's the whole map. It is fun to see the whole thing. But so this is the map. So this is when you go into play chapter 1, like this is what you're playing on. The thing to note about here, that's kind of the thing we've been saying from the start, is that we are building tools to make Cantata, and not only that, but we're building these tools that allow anyone else to also make these maps. So what you're seeing here was fully created with the tools that we'll be giving people. Most of them at early access, some of them a little bit later, but effectively everything that's done here was done in the editor, and so anyone who gets the game can basically do this.
And also the art as well, right, Kyle?
Yeah, all the units are mods as well, so you can add your own units in, all that stuff. We allow you to basically, our tool lets you kind of do whatever. So actually for this chapter, I guess you could just make this because you'll have access to the Cantata units. Just like a quick run through, we talked about the modding editor kind of a while ago, but the thing to know is that it's come very far. So I think real quick, one fun thing to show is that, so we have this, there's a map, but you zoom out a little bit, and then I'm actually going to turn on regions. So here we can see these regions. Each of these regions is configured to have some sort of general capacity for infrastructure. So if you've played on chapter 1 in the maps, you know that you can only build so many units per region. Regions can also have victory points and population increases. So as you capture more regions, you get your population increased. These regions are configured in a panel that I can show you in a little bit. But the really fun thing is if I click this L button, in Cantata and kind of like in the game, generally we make a distinction between regions, which are things that you can capture. So you start the game, you'll see like landing zone, and the scorched battlefield is kind of right down the road, so to speak. But the other thing is that we have these kind of like collections of tiles in the game called locations, and we use these to trigger stuff. So I'm going to turn on this and turn off regions, and now you can see all these little things. These are all places that effectively act as like triggers. So you step on, you see something, this camera start location. This is where we move the camera when the match starts. This is the shrine area. So if you see the shrine location, it will do a little trigger. And all of these can basically be attached to our trigger functionality to work on. So when you're making the map, or you're making your own map or whatever, you can just author this. We do it all for you for the main chapter maps, but it's very flexible. I guess like the first thing to kind of run through is like when you're placing a map, you're kind of configuring players. So just to show off a little bit of that. So this is like the player control panel. So when you open up the editor, you kind of see in here everything configured. So when you're playing on a match, this is dictating what that player has access to, and like what stuff they can do, and what stuff they can build on the map. So for example, this tower transport, we're saying it's kind of hard to read on the Twitch stream. I'm looking for there,
Yeah.
but it says you can build the tower transport. You can build this outside of regions. It's got a 5-turn cooldown. It costs some number of supply, whatever. So you can configure these sort of per faction. I'm gonna hop over to player 2 right now. So player 2 is a machine player. So player 2, from the AI's perspective, we don't actually give it a lot of stuff for chapter 1, but it does have access to these hearts. So it specifically these hearts we have configured to give pressure. So that's why in chapter 1, when you go to try to play against this faction, and you have to attack these hearts because they give stuff pressure, which allows you to then capture the region should you attack those units. So you can configure like all sort of stuff in here. For player 1, the kind of main player, again, you have infrastructure. So this is what appears in this menu at the top. You can also configure what stuff gives pressure. So here's the kind of whole unit list for the human faction. And you can see here that mostly it's the royal banner and the headquarters that give pressure. This is why when you're playing as a conscript, you're able to kind of move in to a region and place a flag down. If you're making your own map, your own mod, like you could choose to change that. You could say, actually, we don't want banners to give pressure. We instead want like grand bombards to be something that like gives pressure to stuff. So yeah. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
about other things.
It's a lot. Um,
Is there anything you want to bring up before we go on?
I'm really squinting, trying to. Usually we share the
Oh, I'm
screen
sorry.
share on, so I have a very small Twitch stream and I can barely see what's happening. Um, I do see. Yeah, I I can't even read the buttons.
Oh,
Oh,
because you have it in a small window. Yeah.
yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, well, I'll just keep talking about some other
yeah.
stuff. So I think one other thing that I wanted to talk about that's sort of related to faction stuff was that what we've done is that we as part of like some of the feedback that came up from the mix, we sort of realized that our AI was kind of lacking in some ways, and so what we wanted to do was actually really improve the behavior of the AI. So what we did is that we made it where when you look at AI, so we have over here our faction, our machine faction player. Each kind of unit for a faction gets what we call an AI profile. So I can toggle these on by clicking this button. And I can see here on the map, and I think you can probably see a little bit on the stream, that each of these units has a specific stance, as we call it, which dictates their behavior. So these units here are set to chase. So what this will do is that if a unit sees you, it will basically move towards you to try to attack you, both inside of its vision range as well as a kind of like range outside of it, so you can move towards it. Additionally, you can sort of set default stances for units. So I can also change these to say I actually want this to be more aggressive, or I can want this to be passive and kind of stand still. The other part that we added is that we've also given units the ability to like patrol stuff. So whereas before when we were playing the mix demo, units would kind of basically stand still and only react to you if they moved forward. Whereas now things will actually move towards you based on some trigger. So I can actually demo that a little bit by showing, actually play some of the game, show you some chapter 1. And also there's some other fun new things I think that will pop up.
Yeah,
So
I think that's great. Also, look at that slick forward planes. You see where this battle is taking place.
Oh yeah. All right, so first thing we'll do, so I'm just going to show you some of this AI stuff, but also kind of demonstrate some of the new kind of fun UX things we've done since we've started playing. The first thing I'll do is I'm going to load in this conscript into this rickshaw. I'm just going to push this rickshaw a little bit out of position to, move up a little bit, see where stuff is going on.
Yeah.
We have our
Oh,
conscript here.
Kyle, real quickly, in
Yes.
regards to the AI, Tan Square says those AI changes are super cool.
Oh, thank you.
We
Yes,
we think so.
we think so. We do. We think they're cool. Um, so for chapter one, something that happens with that AI Tan is that the we have a trigger here where when the player basically sees a certain area, we tell all the kind of AI on the other side of the vision line to like start patrolling a certain area. So it's some like little magic sauce we sprinkle on the game, telling you is kind of, it's not we're not going to try to spoil everything about how this stuff works in the campaigns, but just for demonstrations purposes. So I'm going to move this rickshaw around over here. I think I'll see a enemy maybe. Oh no, it's still a little bit closer. I can't surge again. So I'm just in my turn.
Okay. Joel on YouTube says y'all sped up chapter one a lot, didn't you? We did. We
We
also
did.
try to we're also trying to speed up a lot of the UX and
Mm-hmm.
like how you interact with the game. So everything that in the past might have only required a UI click, we're trying to minimize the number of clicks to do stuff. Um,
Oh yeah, Rogue had actually a really interesting thing recently. So if you played chapter one, or so if you played the tutorial, you know that so units in Cantata, most of them can move or attack once per turn. But then some units have the ability to surge their attack or move, which means that they can, at the cost of some AP, they can do that action again. Previously, to surge, you had to click this button down here in the UI. Now, so if I take this rickshaw and move it over here, oops, weird vision bug. You can see that I can click this to surge my movement, but now without clicking it, I can just have the unit selected. And when I'm mousing over here, I can now see that the tooltip is saying, "Oh, do you want to surge move there?" So I can basically proactively do that movement again. And if you look in the AP bar up here, you can also see that's telling me that if I do this move, it will take 2 AP. So no longer you have to like go down here and click this to surge and come back up here and click. You can basically just click, and then I've now surged my movement. It's been almost invisible, cost me some AP. So we're trying to, there will be a lot of units in the game, so we want to kind of minimize the friction as much as possible. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to end my turn again. Oh, another thing that we did that's been it's invisible by design is that we made it where when the AI is acting, kind of like Total War, stuff, if you can't see something move, we just do it automatically and don't show it to you. So before, when you were waiting on your off turns for the AI to act, you would like hear the AI like moving. And we might still add the movement sounds back in or something, but if an AI wanted to move from like point A to point B, it would have to literally walk that whole direction during its turn, even if it was happening like somewhere over here. And you're like, as a player, you're like, well, I don't really care about that. So we now just basically do it automatically, and so it makes turns just go so much faster, and you only see you can only really see stuff that would directly affect you, which I think is super nice.
yeah.
Um, I'm gonna hike this rickshaw over here to see if this will work.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Um, we have a question. I think it's Greg on Twitch. Can you edit the dialogue pop-ups as well to make custom stories, etc.? Yes. We
Mm-hmm.
have a robust dialogue system that you can inject into any of your triggers. Um, if you've ever played the tutorial, basically you can do anything from move the camera to a place and then play a dialogue, or there's so many options, and you can customize all the dialogue. I think eventually portraits and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so you can have your own art and your own characters saying their own stuff. Completely custom stories it's amazing. I mean, we like to say Cantata is a mod of itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can. I think when we go back to the editor, we can show off some
Yeah.
of that stuff and how to do that. And this will also be like, I mean, it's worth saying. So we're launching an early access on May 12th. The kind of core scenario editor tools will be in everyone's hands then, but like it's going to be a dialogue between us and people who are making stuff in the game where they're asking for what we want. We can kind of build more functionality into that, but at the same time, there is a lot of stuff that you can just do with that. So we'll definitely have more. We'll have a lot of ability for people to kind of do custom stuff, and we'll also be working with people to say like, well, maybe we don't use this in the Cantata campaigns, but like people really want this, so we can add this other feature, and stuff like more custom dialogue and things are totally possible. Okay, so I saw this drone here. Oh, my tooltip is not working. Strange. So I saw this builder drone here with this rickshaw, and what's going to happen now, because we programmed the maps to do this, even though I can't see these other builder drone units here, we've now alerted them to say like, oh, someone can see you, so you need to start moving towards that. So previously in Cantata, when you basically, something would not react to you unless like it could directly see you, and now we're just kind of, we make the map a little more reactive to your movement. The campaigns are not meant to be like a direct 1v1 skirmish thing. It's meant to feel more like an authored experience and sort of feel more natural. So now that I've spotted this in my turn, you can now see that these units have now kind of been alert, and they're like, oh no, we're going to start moving towards the player. My little conscript here, I forgot about the movement range, the attack range stuff. They're going to start trying to move in to try to attack me. This also means that the game is like now, it's harder. Like I think before you could really cheese it really well by just kind of like skirting vision range, and it was like kind of boring. Now it's like, it's more reactive, and it feels better to play. Yeah. So there's also this. So now when you, hover over a unit, it will show you what it can attack with these like animated movement lines. And what's really cool about this is not only does it do that when I hover, but if I mouse over stuff where I could attack multiple units, it will draw multiple lines. So it's much easier to sort of tell when I'm moving. Like you don't have to count tiles to say, how far do I have to go till I can attack this thing? We kind of just show it directly. Yeah, maybe I'll unload a conscript here. I can see my conscript could attack that, so I can hit that. And maybe do another little attack.
On Twitch, Book Chin has said, I have missed that in other similar games. Same.
Yeah. We're trying to, if you're counting tiles in Cantata, we're messing up. Because we don't want you to have to count tiles. It's not fun. No one wants to do it. Let's see. What else could I do? I don't know why pop-ups seem to have, we're making a game. Stuff is weird. What else could I do here? I guess I can't surge the attack. I don't have enough AP to surge. 5 AP. Oh, fine. Oof. Fine. Could build a unit.
Because you're not level 2 yet.
Oh yeah, I need to level up.
Oh, something nice too. We are also signifying to you what you can and cannot do. And we're trying to be a lot better about that, so that in these attack lines, if it's a dark red, you can kind of tell that it's not as, it's deactivated essentially, or you don't have the ability to do it. So we're trying to do a lot of signification that if you can do something, it's very clear, and if you can't, you can just tell at a glance and then move on. You don't have to inspect anything. You can just read the info on the screen, absorb it, and move on to your next move.
Or like in here, when you mouse over the surge to attack, it says, "Can't surge, not enough AP to surge." Also, Rogue, you did something that is visible here now. So if people, I figured I'd turn this off, but I'll just turn it back on real fast. I usually have my tooltip locks on mouse, but so if you, tooltips will now lock. So this was in the build for the mix. But also we have nested tooltips. So anything that you see that is underlined, that's the wrong tooltip, will also show you that thing. So you can basically like get more information. So what's this one? There's that. You can mouse over current player AP. Talks about max AP. Talk about player level. Talk about action points more generally. So you can really like go all the way. So if you're like, we try to basically, we want to show you as much information as possible, but in a way that's sort of efficient. So there's no, we're not just giving you giant tooltips. It's more sort of like something like Crusader Kings or like Total War has been doing, where you have kind of more information upon request instead of having it just all at once. So we try to show you kind of the minimum amount of information that lets you make a decision. But then should you want more info, we then give it to you. So this has been like, I don't know, this is really nice. And just to
Yeah.
state it again, because I just changed it, there's currently 2 lock modes. So one is this timer where once the line goes all the way across to green, the tooltip is locked and you can mouse over. The other option in settings is mouse lock. So you can use middle mouse button. And if you just click the middle mouse button, it will lock the tooltip. So it's a lot easier to, do
Yeah.
nested tooltips all day.
Very, very exciting. Oh, and yeah, Greg, I had a lot of fun writing the nested tooltips. It was very satisfying.
Yeah.
I think the most nested tooltip is the population. There's one in there that's like 5 deep, pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. And then the other thing too is that these are all from like a text database as well. So our intention is to have all these be translated as well. So any sort of text you see here will hopefully be translated to other languages. We haven't said what languages we're going to be translated to. We do want to do some kind of the major ones, and additionally some ones you might not expect, but that will probably be at like midway through early access or 1.0. We do want to translate as much of this game as possible. Sort of similar. I know people who are like red-blue colorblind or like red-green colorblind. Distinguishing between red and green unit outlines is not great because those probably look the same. So we're also trying to pursue looking at like colorblind options, so you can sort of select different versions of kind of the color palette that allow you to better distinguish between what we're trying to show you. Because I think part of the Cantata's design is to say, well, we want to show people everything as much as possible on the map, but that also means that we have to de-emphasize text. We emphasize stuff like color and shape and form. And if people can't distinguish color, then that makes it really hard to see what's going on because we're relying on that. So we want to be able to add in other stuff that allows people to kind of change those settings to say like, if you're red-green colorblind, you can't see the difference between these two units. We want to make sure you can. So that's our goal.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see. I guess I was doing some editor stuff, but now I'm just kind of playing Cantata.
Yeah. We are getting a lot of people are super excited about the art style. Like Book Chen Wyveny. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the art is incredible. I think that's a huge selling point for Cantata. For games just don't look like this. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Sorry you can't hang out, but
Oh,
we're
Paul's
excited
here.
for me as well. Yeah. He said he
Hey,
can't
Paul's
hang
here.
out, but
Yeah. I feel like if people are here, I think we should maybe give I guess chapter 2 is in a weird place. Could give like a small preview of chapter 2 and chapter 3, just like to open them up in the editor.
it's just like a boop.
Just like a little. I think chapter 2 is in a weird place right now, so I might be shooting myself in the foot by trying to do this. I'm gonna click through all the text too, so you all can't read it.
People are gonna try to pause it.
Screenshot it. I think this. There you go. Dun, dun, dun. So this is chapter 2.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the tooltips aren't working, so you don't really get to see what's going on. Chapter 2 is you play as the people of Sun and Shadow, so you'll be kind of moving around on a map. It's a little sneakier. You have all this new infrastructure up here. I said we weren't going to talk about faction difference stuff, but I guess we're touching on it a little bit. The alien faction is more sort of like guerrilla style, like they're kind of more a little more sneaky. They're much better at basically putting down bases really quickly. So whereas the human faction has to really rely on kind of building a continuous supply network, the alien faction is more about kind of putting down a base as quick as possible. Additionally, because the unit that does the mining and the alien faction is actually mobile. So instead of having to kind of place down a building on a mining node that you own, the alien faction is able to kind of like actually like run into a region that they don't own, place down that unit, and then kind of move off of it. So you can kind of like only mine sometimes and kind of like run your miner around on the map instead of having to like really commit to placing a building down. Um, I don't want to play this too much, but it's quite
I know
fun.
that it's so tempting.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Grego now working
Oh, do we
on
lock
this
someone in?
side, but yeah, now he's fully focused on the stream. They
It's
they
like you
do.
have my attention now. I don't want to play too much of this. This is like pretty close to getting done, but I don't want to spoil too much of it. But yeah, so chapter 2 you'll be playing as the people of Sun and Shadow. This map is also, quite. Oop, that's not supposed to see that. Quite large as well. So it's a whole other chapter map you can play on. And let's see what we can see in chapter 3.
Yeah.
It's the smallest tease. I think we'll probably show more of unit stuff in a stream before early access. But for now, let's just give just a little bit. Oh, yep, here we go. So this is chapter 3. So this is you'll be playing as the machines as well as one of our favorite commanding officers, 10 Crowns, here. So you'll be playing. The machines are much better at building, kind of sort of similar to the alien faction. They build kind of smaller supply networks, but a lot of their stuff is more expensive to build. So something like the Heart can attack stuff. They also have their own set of also unique infrastructure, so they can build different units. They're sort of more focused around like utility. So whereas in the human faction, a lot of the units are kind of almost like direct upgrades of other units that you could build. The machine faction is more focused around like asymmetry and kind of specificity. So you might have like multiple bases for the machines that are able to build units that kind of work together versus just having things kind of be direct upgrades. Like, a ranged on Usaya is just better than a conscript for a human faction, whereas in the machine faction, there's kind of a use for everybody. They also have one fun feature, which is that I believe it's everybody. I guess I can just see it here. Most of them, if you've played chapter 1, you've seen it when a machine unit dies, it drops scrap. And the reason that happens is because most of the machine units are able to actually pick up that scrap and then turn it into these cherubim units. So the reason these cherubims kind of look like bolted together pieces of scrap is because they're bolted together pieces of scrap.
Yeah.
So I can see here if I mouse over the cherubim, I can see that it requires 2 scrap to build, just at a baseline. So, yeah, a lot of difference. I think people, we haven't said a lot about this stuff yet because we want it to be a little bit of a secret and also just kind of it be discovered. So people, when they play this on May 12th, will definitely all of a sudden see like, oh wow, there's there's a lot of difference going on. And then again, we're saying, right, all this stuff is built in the editor. So this is all like everything you see here could also be done by you in the context of the editor itself.
Yeah, the editor and Depot.
And Depot, yeah. Depot, the stuff, the custom unit stuff will come, I think, a little, just barely later, but the map editor itself will definitely be launching at at the time when we launch on May 12th.
Yeah. Things definitely get weirder after chapter 1.
Oh yeah, chapter 1 is like the most normal chapter. Very traditional strategy game. We have our sort of drilling. This is I forgot that this is animated. The cool drill going into the ground. I'm gonna place it there just because it looks cool. That's the machine mining unit. Yeah.
Oh, that looks awesome. I'm watching this stream, so it's delayed. I'm like, I want to.
Oh yeah, that does look cool.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bookchin says something about the level of asymmetry makes me think of the book The Word for World is Forest. I don't know that book.
I don't know it either. I'll have to look that up later.
That sounds cool And then, whoop, what was that? I don't know. You have to go find out. I want to just show, someone was asking about the dialogue stuff. I think it'd be cool to show that off real quick. Just making a new map.
Oh,
So,
it's an Ursula K. Le Guin book.
oh, we should know that.
We should know that.
So when you make a new map, it's just like basically this. It's you can't do anything. I wish I could hide this panel. I'm just gonna place down. You actually don't have to do anything. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go to triggers and add a new trigger. And the thing I'll do is someone's asking about dialogue. I'm just gonna set up a trigger that runs some custom dialogue real quick. So I can say that triggers are broken down into I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of main components. The first one is timing. So this is like how often and when does this happen? There's an initial state. So this says, is this thing enabled or disabled by default? Stuff that's disabled won't work or won't run. There are conditions. So this is like, if you know, you don't have to program to know how to make triggers in Cantata, to be clear. But if you know how to program, this is kind of like if-then statements, basically. So conditions are saying what conditions have to be met to do something, and the actions are what happens. You can also have multiple of each of these. So you don't have to just have one. So we have a whole list of conditions. So these are things that you can basically trigger off of. So what I'll say is that I'll say player 1, this is my condition. Player 1 turn start exactly equals 1. So that'll be my condition. And then that'll pop up here. You can click that to edit it. And then I'll say on that, what I want to do is play some dialogue. So we have the ability to actually load in script files into the game. So if I was to click this, I could see these are all the scripts from all of Cantata, but we don't want to do any of those. We want to do our own. You will be able to load in your own versions of those. So you can like kind of edit the text outside the context of the game. But for now, I would just do the simple one, which is just to play it. And you can just write text here. So I can say, who asked that question? Who was it? Greg World. GRGWLLRD asks, can you edit the dialogue pop-ups as well to make custom stories, etc.? And then I can say, oops. Kyle says, yes, of course. So that'll play that dialogue there, and that's just baked into the map. The other thing you can do is that you can also chain these. So I could also have another action that plays another dialogue, and then we could have Rogue. Rogue says, also Rogue, what do you want to say? You want to say anything specific?
Oh, goodness.
So you can also edit more dialogue.
Yeah. I did want to say that if something does start disabled, you can trigger to flip a trigger.
Yes.
To be enabled.
Yeah.
So, but you don't need to type that.
Yeah, you don't need to type that. One other thing I'll do. So you don't. This map is basically good to go. So it'll be boring if we load it, but let's try anyway. Focused Darwin.
Also of note is that you can specify the name that shows up in the top bar of the dialogue by that special format where it's whatever name :
Yeah, so this is the map we just made, and I'm going to start our match, and we'll see. Oops, I did not do one other thing that I often forget to do. So when you have a trigger, you have to also assign it to a player, and I did not do that. Where'd we go? Focus Darwin.
Oh, you're in skirmish.
Triggers. Trigger players. Player 1.
I'm probably delayed.
You are just slightly.
just
like
enough. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
To not be useful.
So focus Darwin. Here we go. There you go. So Greg World says, can you edit the dialogue pop-ups as well to make custom stories? And I said, yes, of course. So that's like one action. So the actions will trigger kind of in order. So we've just triggered our action, and if I click this, it now goes to Rogue's action. So even those are like separate actions, we treat them as separate kind of things. So you can just I'll show you also. So if you look at some of the triggers in like later chapters, you can get really kind of crazy with this. So I know Daniel, the scenario designer for chapter 3, is like a trigger god.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't look at that. Don't hide anything. Secrets. So many secrets.
Hurt your eyes.
So I don't want to show. Where's a safe place? This looks relatively safe to show. So these are all the triggers in chapter 3, and then if you can like open up any of these, you can see that like this trigger has 2 conditions and I don't know 12 actions. Each of these are able to be configured, and then also you can change their order by clicking these little buttons. So you can have really simple triggers that are just like 1 condition, 1 action, or you can have triggers that are like, you know, combinations of everything. You can also, this is also how you configure objectives. So objectives themselves are like also effectively triggers, but they appear kind of on the map or on the UI, so you can see what they do, and you can mouse over them and show stuff. So it's pretty robust. I think that we were initially like looking at this stuff like the StarCraft editor or whatever, and we're like, well, we want to make sure these are that's our pie in the sky. So let's be like StarCraft or let's be like Wargroove. And I think that we ended up actually just doing it. I think that the editor has become super far, and it's like you can kind of do anything, and it's pretty amazing. And it's all like there's
Pretty
no coding
powerful.
required. There's no like you don't have to get in there. You don't have to write any code to do anything. It's all just, you know, you want to add a new condition, you come in here. Maybe I want to say we have specific interactables. I want to say like when something surges, so I can say that I want when this thing surges, I want to do something. And I want to say it's when it surges, it's attack or whatever. And that's just, you know, you combine it and it works. I'm going to exit out of this before I mess up his scenario. Similar, actually, it'll just be fun to open up the tutorial. So this is the tutorial as well. The tutorial is also, we built it in the editor. Like, so it's no like special thing. So, you know, you look at the triggers here. Actually, these are all objectives. These are all the objectives that appear in the scenario editor. So like build a rickshaw, we say, you know, when something is built, when the rickshaw is built, we want to play this dialogue file. And then after that, we give somebody victory. And that's how like the victory screen pops up. And then you can also have different trigger for players and all that stuff. So it's so nice. And I personally love working with it. The other thing too, that is like, we haven't really shown that is, I guess, sort of obvious, but maybe not, is that you also still have, you know, the full ability to, you know, paint your map, whatever kind of crazy colors you want to. And oh man, it's so fast now. It feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do all sorts of weird
Cantata
things.
Paint that was April Fool's Day of last year. Cantata Paint.
Yeah. So you
Do you
can, I
remember
mean, you
that?
can,
Yeah.
of course, how could I forget Cantata Paint?
I feel like I'm gonna drop it in the chat or something. Um,
Maybe I'll make like a little
yeah,
canyon level.
thanks, Greg. Gregu? Grego. Yeah, it looks simple and clear as the Brood War editor. Thank you. We're pretty pleased with it. The editor has also come a long way. It's so
Mm-hmm.
exciting.
Mm-hmm. One thing we're also working on that we haven't like really announced this yet. So sorry if I think I can say this. We're working on a procedural map generator. So something, and this should launch in early access. Don't go telling everybody, but I'm thinking we'll do like a proper press push against it. But we're working on a way to basically generate random maps that you can play on, and that's one of the main things we're gonna be working on in early access. So instead of just having to play on custom maps like hand done maps, which we will have. Those will be fun and fine. If you just want to like load up a random map with against some AI, like we're trying to make that be a possibility. So
Yeah.
I'm like
Just like
actively
pick your
working on that.
faction,
Yeah.
maybe pick some feed things like who you want to play or yeah.
Lovely water. It's too fun. I can't stop. Someone stop me. And then you can place a little unit down. Don't look at the unit list. That's secret. Clever Babbage. And then you just go over
Great name.
here and you go, there it is. And I'm just playing on the map that I just made. So yeah, it's like it's super fast. I think that a lot of other games like the modding is like a thing that is like it's designed to be something where if you want to do more of what the game is kind of already giving you, you can do that. That is possible in Cantata, but I think the thing that we're trying to do is make it be like, no, it's like anybody can just open up and just kind of like test an idea out. Where you're like, well, what happens if, I want to get better at Cantata because I'm like really into multiplayer. I'm like build these scenarios that I can like test myself on or like any of that stuff. And you can also, because you can configure the AI and whatever, it's like very easy just to go in there and just kind of like make something. Even when we're testing Cantata, we're literally like making maps to send to each other to test new features. Because
Yeah.
it's honestly that easy. Oh yeah, you already mentioned the Brood War editor thing, but yeah, I mean the Brood War editor, the Age of Mythology editor, those are all kind of like, those are like the the gods of map editor stuff, and so I think that we're trying to very much channel that, and I think we're doing it. We are at about an hour now. I guess we've been done for 45 minutes, but
Yeah.
if there's any other questions people have, we can answer them or show people some more stuff, or we can wrap the stream and go to the stream chat room in our Discord. If anybody else has any questions, let us know, and
Yeah.
I'll look around on chapter 1 for a second while we look at stuff.
We also give you all the detail terrain tiles. So in that quick map that Kyle just made, there's little water edging
Mm-hmm.
to make things look super lush and alive. So you can get as into it as you want with like the really minute detail
Yeah, you can like
stuff.
paint with like a super broad brush and then get like super, specific to say like, well, I want this very, very specific action here. Like I want, you can like paint your whole, I think even the designers sort of did this when you're first making maps, they kind of huge out the general kind of boundaries of the level and they kind of start to cut closer and closer and closer in to make stuff
Yeah.
look kind of more and more real or more and
You
more
should throw
like
the
specific.
vision toggle.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, super useful for
Mm-hmm.
uh, designing the maps. It's a vision toggle to see what certain units can see. You can also see specifically what a unit can see and also is considered explore. We've got hotkeys for that. I think it's V. There's a lot of things that will give you like minute control over.
Yeah. I think like and part of the reason for this is honestly that working with the designers, we kind of realize like our tools need to be better. Honestly, I think that we with an assumption of like, oh, this will be fine. But then, sorry, I'm seeing my stream looks like it's going very slow.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe fine. Sorry if I'm lagging. It looks like my upload is really low right now. We kind of like made a first pass of these tools, and once we actually gave it to the designers, they were like, these are bad. So like part of the work has been, it's called dog fooding. Like we use our own editor to make our own stuff. So if it's bad, we suffer. So we want it to be good, not because like someone over there is the person using the editor, and we're making it for like the players. Like we're making it for us and the players as well once they sort of get in there. But like so much of the work that's been done has been done to make stuff easy to navigate. Like this is very like in the weeds, but like even stuff like so like for example, this here camera start location. If I open up this location, I can see what triggers are pointing to this location. So if I wanted to like delete some trigger location, I might accidentally break some other trigger. And the reason for that is that, oh, I didn't delete my location or whatever. So I actually can see, okay, well, if I delete this location, this is going to be affected. I can also click, I guess I can't click it now, but I can see like, if I actually go to that trigger, the game start trigger, oops. Oh, something has broken. Great. If I open up that trigger, I can see that it points to that location. So it's just like stuff like that where we try to make it just be really simple. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool. I'm not
yeah.
seeing any more questions. Are you?
No, I think we'll end it here. I think my upload rate has totally tanked, so I hope that the stream is fine for most everyone else. But yeah, we'll do another stream. Probably talk more about faction unit stuff in probably a week or two. And again, out May 12th. Very, very, very soon. We have more stuff to show and share. And yeah, if you want to hang out, ask us any more questions. We're gonna go retire to the stream chat in our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna run the trailer one more time before we end the stream. But otherwise, to everyone who joined, thank you so